Thank you for stopping by the Heat Show channel. And if you've been here before, I would like you to put a number one. If you're a first time viewer, put a number two so we can recognize you. And if you want to put the city and state that you're from, we would appreciate that. We'd like to know where we are being seen. Again, if you've been here before, put a number one. If it's your first time, put a number two, and we'll be right with you in just a moment. Thank you so much for your patience. This is Shouting Gail. I'm here. But you can't see me, but that's okay. You know I'm here. Great peace have they which love thy law, and nothing shall offend them. How is everyone doing? It is a wonderful day that the Lord has blessed us with. And those of you, if you can please let me know what city and state that you're from in the chat. Those of you that are in the live and you're in the chat, if you could let me know what city and state you are from. Someone says First Springs, Texas. One Spring, Texas. State of Indiana is here. Wow, great. Just want to know where you're from, your city and your state. We just want to know where we're being viewed. Please like and share this show. Please like and share this show. And send someone a text that they need to watch this show. It's a lot of information that we want to give you. Iowa is here. Oh, I used to live in Des Moines, and my pastor was the late Superintendent Richard Day. He is. Texas is here. Oh, wow. Texas is here. I used to live in San Antonio, Texas. My pastor there was the late Bishop Samuel Edward Iglehart. And we lift our left hand and say, God bless Bishop Jordan. Bishop, how are you doing?
It's muted. I know my mic was muted. How are you doing? All is well. It's a beautiful
Oh,
day in the neighborhood.
Bishop, I'm trying to get things over here on this side, but on this side I'm having a little trouble. But I'll be there in just a
I
moment.
understand. Hey, Sister Yola, good to see you tonight. Brother Todd, good to see you. Spring, Texas in the building. Daryl Duncan's in the building from Indiana. Thank you so much for popping in. What's
So
going
there
on,
is a
Dr.
such
Earl
place as
Lee? This is California.
so there is a such place as Spring, Texas. Is it one Spring, Texas, or just Spring, Texas?
No, I think you asked him to put a one, and then he's saying he's in Spring,
Oh, the
Texas.
one in oh, okay. So it's your first time. I mean, no,
you,
you've been here before. You've been here before with a number one, and then oh, okay, Texas. Love Texas.
Yeah, Spring,
Love
Texas
Texas.
is just north of Houston, Texas. It's a suburb of Houston. Mr. Monroe, good to see you
Oh,
tonight. It is a suburb of Houston,
East
Texas.
Texas is in the house.
Texas in the building. Good to see you. Thank you so much for popping in. Thank you so much for popping in. Before we get started, Gil, um, oh God, I didn't text you what I needed to text you, did I? Yeah.
We have been so busy, people of the Lord. You don't know how busy that Bishop Jordan is. And he pulls me right along when he's busy. And we just have so much that we want to give you. We've been preparing for you. And I'm excited about what the show has been doing in the internet and all this other stuff. We got a whole bunch of things we want to let you know about, and hopefully you'll stay tuned and take some notes. Take some notes that'll help you take some notes. Bishop Jordan is a great teacher, and I'm sure he's going to teach us something tonight. And back to you, Bishop.
I got nothing to teach tonight, but we are going to have a conversation about some things tonight. Uh, I'm sending you an email right now, so you should have it. Should have sent that to you way earlier. So please forgive me. Um, we're getting ready to. Start. Glad to have y'all in tonight. Thank y'all so much for popping in. We do have something exciting to share with you tonight. You all, if y'all can see, Gail, can you see that QR code up in the corner there? Hey, what's going on, Jay Reagan? It's good to see you tonight. I don't know what happened to Gail, but anyway, if you all can see the QR code in the corner of this screen, that is because we have partnered up with an Escape Collection, which is giving you an opportunity. If you just need to have a getaway, you need to go somewhere, you need to take a vacation, you need to go have a girls' weekend, whatever the case may be, uh, they are making it available to you right there. 4 days, 3 nights to there is a beach escape that is to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Um, I forget the resorts. I think it's Hilton Ocean 22 Resort and the Dunes Resort or something like that. It's a couple of 4 or 5, 2 or 3, 4 or 5 star resorts out there. Music City Escape, that's to Nashville if you want to go to Nashville, Tennessee. Um, that's going to be 597. And if you want to escape to the west coast of California to San Francisco, Golden Gate Escape is 697. That's 497, 597, 697. You can do credit card, debit card, Apple Pay, Google Pay, Cash App, and they even have a payment plan with a firm that'll let you pay 4 payments. Uh, I think over 6 or 8 or 12 weeks, something like that. Is what they told me. I think it's 4 payments. Pretty sure it's 4 payments. So that would be $125 or $150, and then you got time to pay that out. So um, so if you want to take a trip, um, that is how you can do it. We're glad for them to be partnering up with us to give you something that is a blessing to you and is a support to us. All right. So y'all make sure y'all pop in and go check it out. All you got to do, the QR code will be there all night. If you click on that QR code, it'll pull it up. You can make a choice on what you need to do. And you got all of the ways, Affirm, Klarna, whatever. Whatever you need to do to make it happen for you, it's available there for you if you want to go. That's a beach escape to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. That is a Nashville, Tennessee, Music City Escape, and Golden Gate Escape to San Francisco. 4 days, 3 nights, limited spaces, but y'all check it out if you're interested. If you know somebody who's in, they don't have to be watching the show, just somebody that you know needs to get away. Great thing to do for your pastor's anniversary. All these convocations are ending. Great things to consider. All right, let's get to the show, y'all. I don't know what's happening. Gail is having some difficulties, but she'll be back. Do I think Texas would be a good place to hold a holy convocation? Absolutely. I think Texas would be a great place to hold a convocation. I actually um, think that Austin would be a great place to hold um, almost any convention, to tell you the truth. But I think specifically the leadership conference um, or AIM would both be great in Austin. Austin has a huge convention center. It's centered, so it's a little bit different than Dallas and Houston. Certainly less probably crime to be quite honest with you, and they've got great transit, great bus system, great train system. Hardly anybody in the city rides it, but it takes you directly to convention center and hotels and all the places that people might want to go. So I think I actually think that anybody, and this is anybody, if you're looking for a place to consider, I think that would be a great place to go. Yeah, a lot different. Yeah, a lot different. Good evening, Sister Collier. Good to see you. Thank you for popping in. Still praying for you in your full and complete recovery. Thank you so much for your support. By the way, if you want to support the show, You can always do that with $Cash App Heat Show. I think it's $Heat Show at Cash App. You can always do that. We always appreciate that. Again, we'll be talking about those trips throughout the show tonight. So if you want to go to Myrtle Beach, you want to go to San Fran, you want to go to Nashville, it's there for you. Uh, they're all, 4 or 5 stars. Um, so definitely, you need a vacation. It's a great thing to do, and you can do it on a payment plan. Now let's get on to the show. Gail is in the room. I'm just waiting on her headphones to do what they need to do. All right. Okay, let's start. Let me. We're gonna start here because what I really want to talk about is something completely. Hold on a second. Hold on 1 second. I don't want to share that. Let me see. Gotta remember how to pull these things up, y'all. So many things change. We got to talk about the. We got to talk about what happened with the Baptist church, and shout out to Joy 105. Hopefully y'all can see this because I can't tell. Hold on a second. Let me do this. I need a whole nother screen so I can make sure I can see. In case y'all missed it. There we go. Let me do that. Okay. Okay, great. Okay, so y'all can't see it. Okay, perfect. So let's check out what happened. No sound. Y'all didn't hear any of that? Okay, let me see what happened. Thank you, Yola. Hold on. No audio. Okay, hold on. Let's see. Hold on one second. Can y'all hear me now? Let me know you can hear me because I want to make sure I can be heard. Okay. Yola, can you hear me? Thank you. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Jay. Thank you, Yola. Thank you. Okay. Let me see. I keep telling y'all they changed the software so much. It'd be hard to figure out sometimes what's actually happening and what is not. Because this should okay. All right. Now let's see if you can hear the sound coming out. Okay. So that sound is not playing. Okay. All right. So that sound is not playing. Now let me find out why the sound is not playing, y'all. Can y'all tell I thought the video was off of mute. You know, with Gail not being here, it does make it a little more difficult, y'all. Because I would normally be doing this behind the scenes, but y'all are watching me do it even as we speak. Thank you, Dr. Kirksey. Appreciate you. I'm trying because this should be showing. I don't know why this isn't showing up. Hmm, what is that going on? Because I want y'all to be able to see this. That is not what I'm trying to do. Thank you so much. It's I want y'all to see this. I really do. Um, I just don't know why the sound isn't coming through. Let me see if I can get a quick answer, y'all. Y'all, please forgive me for 1 second. Y'all, hold on 1 second. I'm gonna sit here so y'all know I ain't going nowhere. Um, I've got to text my my person. Okay, I did that. All right. Oh, okay. All right. Now, okay, I just figured out what was going on. All right. I got to do something. That's the problem. All right, y'all. I'm in the wrong operating system. That is what's currently happening. Y'all hold on one second. Let me do something real quick. Lord have mercy. That's on me. That is going to explain everything in the world that's been happening. It's the second week in a row I've done that. I got to do better. Yeah, y'all forgive me for that. That is on me. Okay. All right, y'all. It's all working for us good now. Hold on one second. I'll be back to myself in just one second. All right, let's get into the studio, which will make sense. Makes perfect sense. All right, let's go in. All right. Okay. All right. Now we're back. And now it makes more sense. Okay. Y'all forgive me. That was the problem. Okay, that was the problem. All right, y'all forgive me. All right, now we're back. Y'all can hear me now, right? Everything should be moving properly now. Got you. All right, I think we should be good to go now. There we go. Alrighty then. Now I feel like I'm in the right spot. Okay, now I got to do something else. All right. So yes, Dr. Kemper's a great preacher. Absolutely great preacher. Uh, got absolutely no problems with him at all, or the National Baptist Convention. Hold on one second, y'all. Let me get back to the video so I can now pull it up because I was in the wrong opera. I forget that I'm on this Mac, and that is the problem. So it would not allow me to do what I needed to do. Okay, there we go. Okay, there we go. Now we're in the right place. All right, y'all. I think I can do what I need to do. No, I was just in the wrong. I bless you. Always blessed. I appreciate you. I was in the wrong. I was in the wrong operating. That's what it's at. I was. I was in the wrong operating system.
Answers call.
Okay.
And he said to me
So when you do that,
that you
now
all
give me a second.
attended the National Baptist.
That is problem.
and to a Pentecostal church.
And
And I said,
Judge Reginald Boudreaux.
I said to him, I want you to hear me.
Public intoxication.
I said,
Horribly
I don't know.
does offend by any
you folks don't know
situation. Meanwhile,
who my
Bobby
good
spoke out
friend is.
saying that he was
And
great,
I said
that justice was
presiding bishop
under the rug because
and I
was
good friend.
involved.
And whatever he claims to have, I got
Currently has
more
no
of it.
funding paid raised that may be mounted. And so we encourage you to do the best you can, and let's help Bobby out and keep freedom of speech alive and well. All right? Alive and well. Bobby, I hope you have speedy recovery, brother.
Okay, I got you. Thank you so much. Yeah, I don't know why somebody else is. Now I think I'm back.
What they call it? Public safety. And they are trying to get all the bills together. I ain't seen a security guard. I ain't seen but one security guard all week. I ain't seen nobody with a medic suit, nothing on all week. And so they sent us a bill, Frank, for $30,000.
Call yesterday, and I want you to put this on the reel. The person called me, and I reluctantly answered the call. And he said to me that you all were attending the National Baptist Convention and to a Pentecostal church. And I said to him, I want you to hear me. I said to him,
Cover the
you
story
just don't know
from the first
who
time
my good friend
we were
is.
alerted
And I said
of the remember
provided Bishop
piano program
and I good friend.
and
And
was
whatever he claims to have, I got more of it.
called that now has an attorney, and here's the update and remind you of the story. Here it is.
As much as you don't want me to be a resident here, I am. You can't get over that. I am a resident. I am. I'm a Morgan County resident. And you cannot get over that. Let's would you like to go ahead? I mean, this is my home, and this is my home. Hey, everybody, I'm getting ready right now. I'm here at my home in Morgan County, Georgia, that I have the deed to. That's my residence that I have a Supreme Court ruling to. That my cars are registered. That my license is to. I think last year you still have my license. No. Okay, so they okay, here we go. That my license are registered. And this officer is going to tell me that I don't live in my own home. We've been through this time and time again. Well, this point, listen, I'm going to issue a warning. Okay, and then we're going to have you vacate today. There has to be a court order to say that they're evicted from here before you can come back. So you're moving the residents. So you're moving me out of my home. They're the residents. I'm the resident. They've been staying here daily. I don't have to. What law says I got to be in my sleeping in bed every night? What law? What law says I can't sleep? What law says I can't handle business in another city? Are you going to sign these?
I don't know.
If I don't sign it, you're taking me to jail, right? If I don't sign this, you're taking me to jail.
Refusal, you're still going to have to leave the property.
Hold on.
And if you don't leave after that point, once I sign these all as a refusal, yes, we will.
That is a hack.
As I pointed out during that interview, there are so many problems with what that officer or those officers were doing, even in that moment, becoming somehow enforcers of a civil action that doesn't exist, which is not their job. Derek Williamson, the farmer, is on the program today. Also, his attorney, Walt Bernard, is with us as well to discuss the lawsuit. Gentlemen, thank you both for being on Indisputable. How are you?
Where this is coming from.
Doing well today. Thank you, Dr. Richie.
Thank you. I'm going to start with Derek. Sir, give us the elevator pitch update, because we updated this story just a few days ago, and I want to get into the legal argument with your attorney, since now you do have representation.
Absolutely. Dr. Richard Ritchie, as usual, thank you so much for having me back on the program. As you know, it has been a journey. But so everybody, just glad to be back on, obviously with a phenomenal update. You know, for years, I've been saying that accountability is coming, that accountability is going to happen. And it's been tough going up against so many conspirators working together to keep me off of my farm, going on over 5 years now. Bottom line is now a federal attorney has stepped in and everybody's been held accountable. And I said time and time again that I'm not stopping until that happens. And so now the newest member of our animal family is attorney Walt Bernard. And now he's now the new leader of this justice fight too. So I can just say I'm just thankful and appreciate the support of Indisputable, because obviously attorney Walt Bernard was introduced to me indirectly through Indisputable. So thank you so much, sir. So, you know, don't have a whole lot to say. I'm just thankful, and we got a lot of.
Okay. Okay. Sorry about that, y'all. Yeah, that was a hack, and we found it, and we traced it because we got a great team. Thank you to the team. You know, it's crazy when people are trying to frustrate you. Greetings to you, Prince James. Good to see you tonight, man. Thank you for popping in. So here's what was happening in that particular moment. So according to the president of the National Baptist he got a call from one of his constituents who was upset. They are in St. Louis right now. They're in the same place that we'll be having our convocation at in November. And some of his people were upset because they were telling him that their meeting was seeming way too Cogic, way too Pentecostal, and they were unhappy about it. And his reply to them was that he and Bishop Sheard were great. It is that Bishop Sheard had on him. He had double it in him. Talking about the fire and the Holy Ghost and all of that. And so I thought that was a very interesting moment. Welcome back to Shouting Gale, where the president of the National Baptist Association was saying that, hey, basically, we all in the same boat together. We're all one together. What say you, Gil? Okay, still waiting on Gil to say something. This is the oddest night, I promise you. I don't know what in the world is happening tonight, but it is. Gil, are you there? So that's all that was happening there, and that's all that we were showing you what he had to say about the situation. As a matter of fact, I think I got it up now, and I should be able to now share it with you, pretty much.
All right. A call yesterday, and I want you to put this on the reel. The person called me I reluctantly answered the call. And he said to me that you all were attending the National Baptist Convention and to a Pentecostal church. And I said to him, I want you to hear me. I said to him, you must don't know who my good friend is. And I said that presiding Bishop Drew Shields and our good friend. And whatever he claims to have, I got more of it.
So that is what Dr. Kimber was talking about. That's what he was talking about, and I want to give a shout out to him. It is a different thing. We are in a, you know, I feel like either we believe the Bible or we don't. And if we believe what we preach, then in the last days, that He's going to pour out His Spirit upon all men, upon all flesh. And so it doesn't matter whether or not, hey, what's good with you? What's good with you, Jay? It doesn't really matter to me whether you, I have always um, been able to function and flow in a lot of different arenas, which is probably why we have a lot of Baptist subscribers. We got a lot of Apostolic subscribers. We got a lot of Cogic subscribers. Been there, done that, and so I've always been able to go to church anywhere as long as you church like our church, we good. And so I think the thing was, and I think we talked about it on last Friday. There is a difference between, while there is a difference between doctrine, there is similarity in who and how and we worship and what we have to do. And so I want to, I have seen it happening in the National Baptist Convention over the past probably 3, 4, 5 years. And so I want to give a shout out to the president, who would be, in Cogic terms, that would be the equivalent of the presiding bishop. For again, even as I said with Archbishop Hudson, to most assuredly talk about the unity within the body. We shouldn't be fragmented, even if we don't always agree doctrinally on certain aspects. And those doctrinal differences are significant in terms of theology, but the similarity of understanding, as I said on last Friday, we can talk about who Jesus is, but at the end of the day, for all of us, He is Lord and Savior. And so I just wanted to give a shout out to the president of the National Baptist Association and wish them well as there. That's right, one God. Now, y'all can, everybody else can argue about who what His name is and who that is and all that. But at the end of the day, as long as Jesus is Lord and He is Savior, then the rest of it we can talk about in General Assembly. So I want to give that out. I know people thought, oh, what is he going to say about this? Certainly nothing negative. And I also wanted to point out the reason for the thumbnail where I have that is that was last year when Bishop Sheard actually preached for the National Baptist. So it's not anything new. It's not anything surprising. And it may be a greater discussion later on in the next month. I may have some of my friends from different um, doctrinal persuasions, and maybe we'll have that discussion uh, as to whether or not this is good or bad or whatever. I think it's good. Um, uh, yeah, I don't know what Bishop Jake's medical procedure is. That could be almost anything. Uh, he's a man of a certain age, so you know that could be almost anything. But we are certainly praying all as well for him. I did see where his bishop had said that he had missed his convocation as a result of a medical procedure that he's undergoing. So we are most assuredly praying for him in this season, and wanted to most assuredly give that honor out to the president of the National Baptist Association, who is having a wonderful meeting out there in St. Louis. And so we want to do that. Now, let me get to what it is that I came here to as we get ready to get to the 4th of July. I was absolutely, I was sitting at home and I was absolutely astonished by something that I saw that absolutely disturbed me to almost to no end, which is kind of hard to do these days. I'm not often disturbed at that level because I see so much, you all. And I'm going to share it with you. It's going to be about, I got 2 videos that I want to share with you. One is going to be about 5 minutes. The other is also going to be about 5 minutes. But we're going to have a discussion tonight because I'm disturbed. I'm disturbed, and I don't want to be disturbed by myself. And then I could just be wrong for being disturbed. Y'all gonna help me tonight. We're gonna have this conversation together. So let's get to it. Here is Bishop Patrick Wooden.
Well, hello. God bless you. Bishop Patrick L. Wooden Sr. here. And I hope you're having a wonderful day. And I want to say happy Jesus Pride Month to you, my friends. Hey, I've been waving the little flags here and celebrating this month, celebrating our pushback, being a part of the Christian resistance, being a part of those believers who will not stand idly by. Been a hot one too. And here in North Carolina, a dry one, but God knows what he's doing. He'll send the rain. He knows how to keep us all dependent upon him. I tell you that. It's amazing with all of the technological breakthroughs, AI, this one and that. Oh my man, is so advanced. But the truth is, if God don't send the rain, we're at the mercy of the Lord. We're watching the Durham city. God bless Durham, and how their water supply, God knows how. And by the time this airs, God may have already sent a storm through to replenish the water. But my point is, if the Lord doesn't do it, it won't get done. So thank God. I love depending upon him. He's faithful. He's wonderful. And we've had droughts before, and God will see us through this one. And also, I got my, got Old Glory here. Listen, the 250th birthday of our nation is coming up on July the 4th. And my friends, I am going to, should the Lord let me live, I am going to celebrate the 250th anniversary of our great country, a country that God has blessed, a country that for all of its ills, and I know it's not a perfect country, but I tell you what, it's the best one for you and me. If you think you can fare better somewhere else, go there. But look, don't sell your location, rent it, lease it, because trust brother wouldn't. You'll be coming back. You'll learn right quick that you're blessed to be an American. That you won life's lottery. Oh, I was born. I had no control over it. I had no say in it. You know who controlled that? The Lord did. And so I love the place. I love the country of my birth. And I'm praying for our nation that God will bless us. It's not a perfect nation, but I'll tell you something. I thank God for it. You know, when was America ever great? You know, one person had a slogan, "Going to make America great again." But when was it ever great? I think a better question might have been, when was it never great? Despite the ills of this country is a remarkable one. And the 250 years of its existence has been years we exist because the Lord deemed it so, that we won the Revolutionary War.
Hold on. I'm sorry. Answer to your first question. When was it never great? The fact that I'm watching a black man who's the presiding bishop of Church God of Christ is put in leadership of black men. Say to me, when was America never great? Is it because you don't know? Do you really not know when America wasn't great? Hold on. Let me not interrupt.
And gained our freedom. I'll tell you, that was God. We were outnumbered, outgunned, outmanned, but the Lord fought for this great nation.
Hold on.
Question might have been, when was it never great? Despite the ills of this country is a remarkable one. And the 250 years of its existence has been years we exist because the Lord deemed it so. I'll tell you, that was God.
Is it just me, or does it seem like, Bishop, you don't study? Because July the 4th was never a war about freedom. See, that is the issue. That's the problem. That is the problem when you are a black man trying to argue white men points, because the Revolutionary War was not about freedom. They were not enslaved. It was about independence. That was a fight for independence. That's why it's called Independence Day. They were fighting to be independent from, they wanted to tear away from England. It's like he don't know. It's like he don't know that the Revolutionary War had nothing to do with fighting for freedom. We were never fighting for freedom. The Americans were fighting for independence from being taxed. It was about taxation without representation because there was nobody from the colonies that was a part of the parliament in England representing the new land. And so they had a revolutionary war for independence. Anyway, I digress. Let me digress.
Outnumbered, outgunned, outmanned, but the Lord fought for this great nation. And yes, there are sins of this nation. There are missteps. There are things that the nation did that was dastardly and wicked. But God, in his grace and mercy, blessed our nation. And you think about the ugly scar of slavery on our nation. But I tell you what, when you study slavery, as awful as it was, the slaves who ended up with the if there was anyone who got the bright side, were those who made it to America.
I'm trying not to cuss tonight. I promise you I'm trying not to. But did I just hear Bishop Patrick L. Wooden say that the bright side of slavery was for the slaves who made it onto the ship and got to America? Let me hold on, because let's see.
Who got the best end of the deal, if you will? Who, if there was anyone who got the bright side of the darkness of slavery, if you will, were those who made it to America.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. You just heard a black bishop, part of a black Pentecostal, the largest black Pentecostal denomination in America. I'm trying, Yoli. I'm trying. Lord, you just heard this. Bishop Shear. Somebody tag the presiding bishop. Bishop Shear, how much longer are you going to let this man be in charge in the chairman of men in this black church? Talking about the bright side of slavery. The bright side, what is the bright side of slavery? I ain't never heard nothing so I'm trying to find my words, y'all. I have never, Yoli, I'm trying to find some words. I'm normally good with words. I have never heard anything so stupid in my whole entire life. The bright side of slavery. Where is the bright side of slavery? And check it out, y'all. The bright side of slavery was for those who made it to America. All right, okay, let's go back, because now he finna do the tap dancing. Here come the tap dancing. Y'all think I wouldn't even, I can't.
Who were captured in their own land by fellow Africans. Africans produce Africans to sell in the slave trade. And I've been saying for quite some time, who's the worst, the buyer or the seller? And it was wrong for us to sail across, for the earliest people to sail across and to buy slaves, buy people into slavery. But slavery that's the way it was then. And do you not know that there was at least, by some estimations, 4,000 black families that owned slaves? It wasn't just a simple white man owned the black man, that type of thing. As a matter of fact, the first black slave owner, Anthony Johnson of Virginia, in 1655, owned slaves. So it was an ugly time. But thank God, I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to tell you something. Slavery ended on December the 6th, 1865. As I mentioned, slavery ended. And thank God that the Lord has blessed us and have caused his face to shine upon us. But you say, well, when was America ever great? Man, America was great for me when I went to school, when I graduated, when I got my first job, when I met the woman that I married. Oh, I can go down the list when my children were born. As I began to find my way, when I purchased my first home. Oh my, there are just so many landmarks, so many things that has happened to me. And I'm grateful to God for living in this land, for being able to afford to feed my family, to purchase a life, to have a savings, to worship freely, to be a part of the grand old church of God.
Okay, I'm gonna come back. Okay, I'm gonna come back, but let's deal with a few things. There was an estimate of 3,775 black slave owners with an estimated 12,760 slaves out of the 398,000 slave owners in the country. Again, somebody tag Bishop wouldn't help him to understand this. Of the 3,775 black slave owners, only 248 owned commercial slaves like white slave owners. Only 248 in the history of the country. That's 248 too many, but only 248 did. So, Jordan, why was there 3,775 slave owners? Because when they became free, part of the law at the time was that you couldn't just set slaves free. So that when they became free, they bought their own family members, their wives, their children, the cousins, aunts and uncles. They bought them so that they were technically slave owners, but they were not living as slaves. That was their family. And because they had gotten their freedom, they bought their family from the other slave owners. And so that's where you get that number from. For a black man to justify slavery in America by talking about the fact that it was black slave owners in America, when the only way you could keep your wife and children was to buy them. Either shows complete and utter ignorance, or you just don't care. I was so disturbed when I saw this. Oh, yes, it gets even worse. You're right. When he said black women have had more abortions than the KKK unaliving blacks. I mean, I agree with you. I agree with you, Hutchinson. I don't even know if I was the presiding bishop, I would be embarrassed to have put somebody as the leader of black men in the largest African American denomination, Pentecostal, in the country, and keep letting him talk. I don't know if I'm more bothered by the presiding bishop or if I'm more bothered by the men who keep showing up to listen to this. It is normally not personal to me when it comes to having a discussion about Bishop Woodard. It is normally not personal. This tonight is personal. This bothers me. And it bothers me in a horrible, horrible way. Because I don't know if he's just unlearned or just doesn't care. I'm not real sure which one it is at this point. This was his way of, I guess, trying to celebrate the 4th of July and show his patriotism and how much of a patriot he is, and how much he loves the country. And there's nothing wrong with loving the country today. But to pretend as though it was not what it was yesterday, to me, is a problem. So, as I'm listening to this, hey Prim, as I'm listening to this though, Prim, it brought something back to me, and that was Frederick Douglass. And what's amazing to me is that while Bishop Wooden has this concept, good evening to you, True Blue, good to see you. Thank you for popping in. While Bishop Wooden has this odd concept of America and the 4th of July, Frederick Douglass actually addressed it. And James Earl Jones is reading his words, but I want y'all to hear what Frederick Douglass had to say about the 4th of July when he was asked to speak at a women's event. And I believe it might have been 1855. This is before 1865. And it's a famous speech entitled, "What to the Slave is the 4th of July?" Let's hear what he had to say.
This is James Earl Jones reading the historic address during a performance of Voices of a People's History of the United States. It was co-edited by Howard Zinn. The late, great historian introduced the address.
Frederick Douglass, once a slave, became a brilliant and powerful leader of the anti-slavery movement. In 1852, he was asked to speak in celebration.
Citizens, pardon me, and allow me to ask, why am I called upon to speak here today? What have I or those I represent to do with your national independence are the great principles of political freedom and of natural justice embodied in that Declaration of Independence extended to us? And am I therefore called upon to bring our humble offering to the national altar and to confess their benefits and express devout gratitude for the blessings resulting from your independence to us? I am not included within the pale of this glorious anniversary. Your high independence only reveals the immeasurable distance between us. The blessings in which you this day rejoice are not enjoyed in common. The rich inheritance of justice, liberty, prosperity, and independence bequeathed by your fathers is that both and healing to you has brought stress and death to me. This 4th of July. You may rejoice, I must mourn. To drag a man in fetters into the grand illuminated temple of liberty and call upon him to join you in joyous anthems were inhuman mockery and sacrilegious irony. Do you mean, citizens, to mock me by asking me to speak today? What to the American slave is your 4th of July? I answer, a day that reveals to him more than all other days of the year the gross injustice and cruelty. Celebration is a sham. Your boasted liberty, an unholy license. Your national greeting are empty and heartless. Your denunciation of tyrants, brass-fronted impudence. Your shouts of liberty and equality, hollow mockery. Your with all your religious parade and solemnity, deception, impiety, and hypocrisy, a thin veil to cover up crimes that would disgrace a nation of savages. There's not a nation of the earth guilty of practices more shocking and bloody than are the people of these. At a time like this, scorching irony, not had I the ability and could both. A fiery stream of biting ridicule, blasting reproach, withering sarcasm, and stern rebuke. For it is not light that is needed, but fire. It is not the gentle shower, but thunder. We need the storm, the whirlwind, the earthquake. The feeling of the nation must be quickened. The conscience of the nation must be roused. The propriety of the nation must be startled. The hypocrisy of the nation must be exposed, and the crimes against God and man must be proclaimed and denounced.
That's the truth of the 4th of July. Now, juxtapose what Frederick Douglass had to say. At the time, 1852. Man, love you, Apostle Sam Long is in the building. Man, love you, man. Glad to hear from you. Um, just to pose that, what Frederick Douglass had to say to this. I'm confused.
That you won life's lottery by being born here. And, I listen, I could not control where I was born. I had no control over it. I had no say in it. You know who controlled that? The Lord did. And so I love the place. I love the country of my birth, and I'm praying for our nation that God will bless us. It's not a perfect nation, but I'll tell you something. I thank God for it. Someone said this one day, and I thought about it. They said, when was America ever great? One person had a slogan, "We're going to make America great again." Well, when was it ever great? I think a better question might have been, when was it never great? Despite the ills of this country is a remarkable one. And the 250 years of its existence has been years we exist because the Lord deemed it so, that we won the Revolutionary War and gained our freedom. I'll tell you, that was God. We were outnumbered, outgunned, outmanned, but the Lord fought for this great nation. And yes, there are the sins of this nation. There are missteps. There are things that the nation did that was dastardly and wicked. But God, in his grace and mercy, blessed our nation. And you think about the ugly scar of slavery on our nation. But I tell you what, when you study slavery, as awful as it was, the slaves who ended up with who got the best end of the deal, if you will, if there was anyone who got the bright side of the darkness of slavery, if you will, were those who made it to America, who were captured in their own land by fellow Africans, not by the white man, but by fellow Africans. Africans produce Africans to sell in the slave trade. And I've been saying for quite some time, who's the worst, the buyer or the seller? And it was wrong for us to sail across, for the earliest people to sail across and to buy slaves, buy people into slavery. But slavery, that's the way it was then. And do you not know that there was at least, by some estimations, 4,000 black families that owned slaves? It wasn't just a simple white man owned the black man, that type of thing. As a matter of fact, the first black slave owner, Anthony Johnson of Virginia, in 1655, owned slaves. So it was an ugly time. But thank God, I'm going to tell you something. Slavery ended on December the 6th, 1865. As I mentioned, slavery ended. And thank God that the Lord has blessed us and have caused his face to shine upon us. But say, well, when was America ever great? Man, America was great for me when I went to school, when I graduated, when I got my first job, when I met the woman that I married. Oh, I can go down the list. When my children were born, as I began to find my way, when I purchased my first home. Oh my, there are just so many landmarks.
Bishop, can I say?
You can. I'll be right back. Yes, you can.
I do apologize. I've been having some technical difficulties with my own system here, but and I might be freezing. I'm not sure. Um, 7th and 8th grade, freshman through senior year in high school. Junior high school, 7th and 8th grade, um, we had to learn American history. Um, and in 8th grade, you had to pass the Constitution in order to graduate. In high school, you had to learn. You had U.S. history, and then they also offered you Black history as an elective. Um, I'm wondering if this gentleman has ever took a history class. 'Cause, where does he find this stuff? You know, it's just really weird to me how he thinks. It seems like what I would call, I'm not saying everyone else calls, um, is sellout of his own race. Um, does he like being a Black American? Um, I don't know. I kind of got an idea of where he's getting this African history from, but that seems to be incorrect as well. Um, we teach in our church, there was a newspaper that the church had in circulation called The Whole Truth. I don't hear any whole truth from this gentleman. And I think it's sad that you would allow someone to. It sounds a little. I don't want to say he should wear one of those. You know, you see these Western movies, and they have where it's nighttime, and then you have these people that run with crosses and with white sheets on. And I'm wondering, is he really on their side, or what is he trying to display to him looking like me? Because he looks like me, but he doesn't act like me. Okay, he doesn't speak up for me, um, for him looking like me. Um, it's just really strange of how he believes in our own American history. Back to you, Bishop.
Gail, I'm gonna tell you where he gets this type of foolishness from. I'm gonna share it with you. I'm gonna show you where he gets it from, because it ain't hard to find. It's not hard to find.
Backlash against Governor Ron DeSantis and the Florida Board of Education over the state's new standards for teaching the history of U.S. slavery.
These are the most robust standards in African American history, probably anywhere in the country.
The new guidelines require middle school students be taught, quote, how slaves developed skills, which in some instances could be applied for their personal benefit. An idea Vice President Kamala Harris in Florida Friday lambasted.
How is it that anyone could suggest that in the midst of these atrocities, that there was any benefit to being subjected to this level of dehumanization?
In high school, the guidelines require the teaching of both acts of violence perpetrated against and by African Americans, which Florida's Education Association says diminishes an event like the 1920 Ocoee Massacre, where at least 30 African Americans were killed for attempting to vote. A volunteer member of the task force tells ABC News he stands by their work. Amid criticism, the standards gloss over the horrors of slavery.
It is the case that Africans proved resourceful, resilient, and adaptive, and were able to develop skills and aptitudes which served to their benefit, both while enslaved and after enslavement.
And I wasn't involved in it.
On the campaign trail, DeSantis distancing himself from the specifics of the curriculum, but still defending the new guidelines.
I think that they're probably going to show some of the folks that eventually parlayed, being a blacksmith into doing things later in life.
And tonight, Republican rivals for the 2024 presidential nomination piling on. Former Texas Congressman Will Hurd writing, slavery wasn't a jobs program that taught beneficial skills. It was literally dehumanizing and subjugated people as property because they lacked any rights or freedoms.
Yeah, this is not even a new conversation. This conversation has been happening the past 5 years. And he just made that video, Gail, yesterday. This is how behind the times this man is. You just made that video.
And the things of it is, he lives in the South where racial profiling is very heavy. So, it's really sad that this gentleman
student
even
busing
tries to put
student busing was in North Carolina. When he says America was great when I went to school, when you went to the segregated schools, it was. I'm totally when I bought my house when there was redlining and you could only buy a house in a specific neighborhood. I mean, you can live anywhere you want to now, but what glossy history is this for someone?
And that's barely. I mean, even in that way, like when you said you can live anywhere now. It's still you still battle with that. African or blacks don't belong in certain neighborhoods. Even in the South, the Midwest, all over the country, you still have areas still believe that blacks don't belong in certain neighborhoods. It's okay for them to have nice jobs, good jobs, and make good money. Want them in our neighborhood. They lower the property value. I've been neighbors to people that look like me for property value. So I don't understand why my skin color, when you see me coming, I drive a decent car. I drive a nice car. And they feel that I'm not entitled to that type of lifestyle because I should be beneath privilege, but I don't want to live like, deal with racism and prejudice. And I think that's going to continue even until Jesus comes. But bad that it has.
Okay, Gail will be back. The blood pressure pill right here. This is the fact that he put that out yesterday. At the same time, that the Supreme Court with the help of a black man who only got there because of affirmative action, said that the president can remove, and if you think it's stopping with Haitians, you're losing your mind. The fact that his son-in-law doesn't understand that Donald Trump doesn't feel any differently about Nigerians or African Americans than he does about Haitians. You can take that to the bank. The fact that they are attempting to put Haitians out and bring South African, by the way, watch this, he didn't open up to South Africans. He opened up to specifically white South Africans under the guise of there being racially tormented. South Africa. Home of Nelson Mandela. Decades of apartheid. There you go. Cut aid to Africa. If he thinks that they don't want Nigerians out of here too, you've lost your mind. They don't even want Black Americans who are born and raised in this country. What in the world make you think they want you? They don't even want Black Americans. They don't even want the people who they brought over here. Absolutely, Hutchinson. Hutchinson says people don't understand because somebody could come to your house and say that you look Haitian. How you gonna prove you ain't? I mean, to have a Black man argue because he won't read that nearly 4,000 Black people owned slaves. No, nearly 4,000 Black people bought their family members because it was the law. Because it was the law. That was the only way to keep them together. It was the mechanism that they used to protect family members from being ripped away from them because if they were not owned, then they could be captured by white slave owners, like running away like a wild horse because we were yet still property. Now tell me, Bishop Wooden, at what point was the bright side of being property? Because I want to find it. I'm looking for it. I need to know where the bright side of being compared to a horse or a dog or a wagon was bright. I'm only asking for a friend. Watch this. Let me read it. Let me read it to you in case somebody shares it with him and he wants to get educated. Emancipation of family and loved ones were only done by one area during slavery time. The most common reason Black individuals purchased slaves was benevolence of family because strict laws in the American South often made it illegal to free a slave without exiling them from their family in that state. It was illegal. So free people of color would legally purchase their own spouses, children, parents, and family members in order to keep their families united and to protect them from being sold to abusive white slave owners. The fact that you do not know that, and of that 3,775 Black slave owners, nearly 1,500 of them were considered slave owners because they bought themselves from their slave masters. And in the eyes of the law, it required purchasing their own labor and legal identity so they own themselves. What is wrong with you? I'm sorry, y'all. I'm generally not. It's normally not personal. But this is personal. You comparing people to having to buy themselves and buy their wives and their children to white slave owners? Are you serious? Gail, give me a break. I'm seriously upset. I'm bothered. I'm bothered. People think Bishop Maynard is a scandal. That's not a scandal. The pastor up in Philadelphia getting arrested for taking gay pictures from boys, and that's not a scandal. Someone appointed to be the chairman of the largest African American Pentecostal denomination in this country. The person who's supposed to lead millions of black men got enough nerve to sit on his platform and talk about the bright side of slavery. And the best slaves were the slaves that made it to America. Are you out of your mind? Are you seriously out of your mind? The best slaves are the ones that made it on the ships. Well, what about the millions who died in the voyage on the ships? That was the bright side? Are you serious? You cannot be serious, man. You can't be serious. You can't even be taken seriously as a serious person. How in the world was that the bright side? To be taken from your land. I don't care if you're a slave in your land or not. What that got to do with anything? Be ripped away from your family. Whatever family didn't come with you. Then you get over here after making it through a voyage that should have killed you. And then you get ripped away from the only other family you got. Put in chains and treated worse than a dog. I'm sorry, Bishop Wooden. What's the bright side of slavery again? What's the bright side of it? What was the bright side about making it to America? Because I'm confused.
Well, Bishop, you can bring it to more current events, even during the 60s, the 50s and the 60s during the civil rights movement, where people that look like me were hosed.
Honestly, I'm so stuck on the man saying that there was a bright side to slavery, I can't even get to the civil rights movement because I'm too stuck on that right now. I'm stuck.
He didn't go to history class.
I don't know what part of the passage was the bright side. I'm not real sure what part of that it was. Gail, I'm sorry. I'm trying not to be upset, but I can't stop actually. I can't stop actually hearing this man say it, Gail. It is an oddity to me. Okay. Because somebody ain't gonna believe.
And the 250 years of its existence has been years we exist because the Lord deemed it so, that we won the Revolutionary War and gained our freedom. I'll tell you, that was God. We were outnumbered.
We didn't win freedom.
Like a sellout to me.
It wasn't even about freedom. That's how ridiculous this starts. It starts off. It's like every time he talks about history, he just won't open the books. The American Revolution was not about freedom. It was about independence. It had nothing to do with whose freedom are you talking about? And Gail, and hold on, Gail. Here is the problem. And I want you to consider this. I want you all to consider this as you are listening to this, because I'm gonna play it one last time. But Gail, as you're listening to this, I want you to consider what he had to say about Juneteenth and his non-acknowledgement of Juneteenth, the actual day that all black people became free in America. Because that would have been because of the Civil War, not the Revolutionary War. But anyway, I feel like I'm in the Twilight Zone.
But outgunned, outmanned, but the Lord fought for this great nation. And yes, there are sins of this nation. There are missteps. There are things that the nation did that was dastardly and wicked. But God, in his grace and mercy, blessed our nation. And you think about the ugly scar of slavery on our nation. But I tell you what, when you study slavery, as awful as it was, the slaves who ended up with who got the best end of the deal, if you will, if there was anyone who got the bright side of the darkness of slavery, if you will, were those who made it to America, who were captured in their own land by fellow Africans. Not by the white man, but by fellow Africans. Africans produce Africans to sell in the slave trade. And I've been saying for quite some time, who's the worst, the buyer or the seller? And it was wrong for us to sail across, for the earliest people to sail across and to buy slaves, buy people into slavery, but slavery, that's the way it was then. And do you not know?
Slavery, Gil, that's just the way it was. That's just the way it was. I mean, what y'all mad about? What y'all mad about? Black folks already selling slaves. What y'all mad about? Why y'all keep blaming white people for just doing business? Yeah, why y'all keep blaming white folk for doing business? I mean, what you mad about? You got the best end of his exact words, best end of the deal for the bright side of slavery was if you made it to America. Really? Really? Is that really what you want to say? Does he not really? By the way, because our audience is predominantly black. Let me help my black folk out. Let me help y'all out. Because they never tell you this part. People like him never tell you this, Gil. Slaves were not brought here because we were less than. We were brought here because we were already more than. The reality of it is, black people were brought here because we knew how to farm, because we knew how to harvest, because we are strong. We didn't come because they didn't want us because we were weak. Who in the world buys the worst car on the planet? Nobody, unless they have to. You don't know anybody that's traveling around the world to get a hoopty. People will travel around the world to get a Ferrari. They'll travel around the world to get a Lamborghini. They'll travel around the world to get a Rolls Royce. But they ain't traveling around the world to get a hoopty. We didn't get the best when we got America. America got the best when they got us. That's what he fails to realize. Because of the industrialness that was going on in Africa, that's why they went over to trade horses and guns for people. He doesn't even realize how great of a people we already were over there. We didn't come over here to get great. We were already great. We didn't come over here to learn something. We already knew it. That's why they came. You don't go get people to learn. You get people to know. You don't know that, Bishop? You don't know that? How you? What? Really? You don't know that? And they still robbing Africa. Africa been the place to go get gold. Africa been the place to go get jewels. Africa been the place to go get all the precious metals that you need to make your computers and your laptops and your phones and all of the other things that they make. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? What am I missing? What are you talking about? It bothers me that people talk about Egypt as though Egypt is not a part of Africa. Egyptians are Africans, in case y'all didn't know. I mean, they're not Middle Easterners. They're Africans. Egypt is in Africa. That's not a Middle Eastern country, as much as people like to make it think so. No, that's not. Wealth has always been in Africa. Africa was never unwealthy. Come on, the Moors taught them how to bathe. Come on here. What are you talking about? Egypt, Nubia, Kush, what? Am I missing something? You don't read nothing about the Bible. You don't read nothing about America in the Bible. What about checking for America? What are you talking about? And I'm not opposed. I was born here. I am an American. I'm not an African American. I'm an American. And that's the problem. Therein lies the problem. Because when you go overseas, you'll find out that they don't consider you African American and this and that. You're just an American. That's it. You're an American. And they assume because you're an American that you're smart and you're wealthy. That's just, doesn't matter what your skin color and all, they don't trip like that overseas. Do you have racists everywhere? Yeah, but where did it, I was watching something the other day and it was a black man living in Thailand and he was dating this Taiwanese young lady and she was all upset because he had broken up with her, and she called him up, left him a message on his phone, and called him the N-word. And he laughed because it sounded so funny with her trying to even say it, that it didn't even make sense. I don't know. That's a great question. Hutchinson says, he said, who is going to teach Wooden? He is in public speaking as a Cogic authority. I don't know. It doesn't seem like anybody can. I mean, he just says whatever he wants to. Most of the time, he'd be 100% wrong about stuff. He was talking the other day and was talking about, what was he talking about? He used the phrase, Judeo-Christian, without even realizing that's an insult to Jews, by the way. He doesn't even know it's an insult to Jews. He doesn't even know that the term Judeo-Christian is an insult. Talking about his love and support for Israel, and if you're going to be a Christian, you need to be a Judeo-Christian. Supporting Israel. It's an insult to Jews. But I try not to be petty, but this, the fact that you would say, yes, Bishop Sheard is with Bishop Brown tonight, I believe, at his convocation. Great friend, Bishop Brown, and Bishop Sheard is with him tonight. Gail, I don't know what to, I don't know what can be said. I need a turn, because I generally have a turn to this kind of stuff, but I need a turn tonight because I'm so bothered by this. And his broadcast actually got worse from there. That was just the first 5 minutes.
Well, Bishop, you know what?
Please tell me. Please tell me.
I mean,
This broadcast almost made me want to throw a rock at the TV. Ooh, my God. Picking it up to the office, I need the office. Somebody need to pray for me tonight. Yeah, I am so bothered. I don't even know, seriously. I mean, honestly, I don't even know kind of how to navigate. I don't even know how to mentally navigate it, because I want to, and I thank you for the interlude. I want to. I mean, what do you say to the people when this is what's being said from the pulpit? And it represents, we are not talking about a Cogic pastor. We're talking about the co-chairman of the International Men's Department, who's not just speaking to black men in America. But do you know what you just said to Cogic members over in Africa, black men over in Africa, about how wonderful slavery was, and they missed their opportunity because they family didn't get on the boat. What? This is not just anybody talking. This is
one of our top leaders.
This is you're talking about the 13th highest vote getter for the general board. Just a few votes away from sitting in the highest seat in the largest African American Pentecostal denomination. Saying to black men,
slavery.
And if you got over here, you got the best end of the deal. If you got over here, you got the bright side of slavery. What?
The question is, does he really know what slavery is?
But Gail, remember, he started with this question. Not when was America ever great, but when was America never great?
Never great.
Negro from 1619
that right there.
From 1619 until 2026. What are you talking about? When was it never great? I know there was a little slavery in there. I know there was a little slavery in there. I know there was a little Jim Crow time in there. I know there was a little civil rights thing on there. But when was it never great? I mean, outside of those little small times, when was America never great?
Now, if you really wanted to know what brainwash is, just by that coming out of his mouth and his thoughts after that, let you know that's a brainwash
when was
speaking.
America never great?
Never great.
And went back and said we've been great for 250 years. Bishop Charles Harrison Mason is turning over in his grave right now.
Well, I think he's saying, well, he's not a part of us. He's not a part of us.
I mean, does the presiding bishop ever pick up the phone and call and say, "Hey, man, look, we've been friends. I keep telling people you my partner, you my friend. Can you please stop saying crazy stuff?"
But you know, when people are putting butter on the bread, they're not going to say much until it really, when the bread don't taste right.
I would be very curious as to, a man who I absolutely admire, one of the smartest men on the planet, Bishop Roderick Hennings. I would just be curious as to what he is thinking, as having to co-chair something with I would feel the need to denounce that foolishness. I would feel the need to say, man, look, I don't co-sign on that at all. I don't even know what he's talking about.
Well, Bishop, you know, money speaks louder than words. That you know, put your money where your mouth is. So and he can say what he wants. Do you remember when Donnie was saying all those things about know all that leader if he had not heard directly from someone that works um, national position? How would he have to talk so strong about presiding bishop from someone that he was friends with? I do believe.
Are you serious, Tina? Because somebody told me he's not at that service. Somebody told me he's not at that service. Are you telling me he is at that service? Because I will send a text to Bishop Hennings right now. I'm confused. I'm so bothered. I'm so bothered. And I mean for real. I will really do that. I'm so bothered. Yeah, I'm bothered. I'm his harshness does have a following, and unfortunately, a lot of people call that holiness teaching. I don't know what that has
But
to do with holiness.
harsh. You can be harsh vocally and wrong at the same time.
That's true. Sometimes you just laugh. Okay, thank you, Tina, because I'd hate to have to text him. I feel some kind of. I don't know. I mean, and here's the other thing, right? Most people are not checking for Bishop Wood like that. It's just not. I mean, people ain't doing that. I mean, a lot of people just aren't. A lot of people aren't checking for him like that, and so I can't blame people for not knowing what he's saying. Okay, he may get he's got 2,100 views on that right now. We get more views than that. Okay, and sometimes stuff
Well, the
go
thing
right.
of it
Most
is,
of the stuff don't get those kind of views. Most of the stuff get 1,000 views. But sometimes it go viral. But
well, he may feel, Bishop Wooden may feel that who's going to check him? Who's bad enough to check him? Who's going to correct him? Nobody. So, long as I give my money and I stand on the word of God. That's not the word of God, sir.
Look, see, when he's not in that bubble.
That's not God of the Bible. That's not the God of the Bible. That's not none of that.
No, not at all. Not at all.
It says, follow peace with all men. You don't denounce your own people. People that
Not
look
at
like
all.
you. And then put
It,
holiness on top of that and say that's the God of the Bible. No. Sorry. I don't believe that. I don't stand on that. And he needs to really, he doesn't think about what he's saying. He just knows he has an audience and he can be heard. And
but who is he?
he
Who
can't
is he
represent,
trying to?
but then
Who
he's
is he trying to
representing
tell
our
that?
church.
But who is he trying to tell that to? Who is he talking to? Who does he think he's talking to when he talks about the bright side of slavery and how good slavery was? And we sure thank God that we here. Who is he talking to?
I
Who's the
think he's
audience that
talking.
he's
I think he's talking to the evangelicals, and
Oh,
I guess he calls himself representing that look like us. He don't represent me, sir. You do not represent me. I'm not in that group with you.
I am in no group
So
that sees the bright side of slavery. I'm not over there. I don't count
and
man
this
with
is the
count.
thing. I think this is the thing, and I think we had a conversation once. I was saying that I'm glad I was not born when my parents were born, because
Yeah.
I'm not going out to no field and chopping nobody cotton. I'm not doing it. They would have to just shoot me. I'll stand there and I'll pull the trigger myself. I'm not gonna pick no cotton. Even even in the 80s, in the 70s and 80s, my family on my mother's side, they still had fields with cotton in there. And then my grandmother told me, she asked me, well, do you want to learn how to pick cotton? I said, heck no. I
Did
don't
you
want
say
to do that.
Did you say heck?
Heck no.
Okay.
Because
want to
I
make
said
sure
heck, because you can't say hell. You can't say hell in front of your grandparents. That's like
No, you cannot. But it was in your mind, though. I feel like that was in your mind.
not
I
as a
ain't telling you
child.
what
Not as a child. Not as a
you didn't know,
child. You
right?
can't say that.
Listen,
Yeah, you can't. And this
listen.
is you can't say that.
I believe
to your
you. I
grandparents.
believe you. But Gail, look, I believe you, but I just believe innately in the black biology somewhere. When somebody asks you, do you want to go pick cotton? I just believe that innately somewhere in there is that word is built in. That is a built-in response. I believe
asked
every
my
slave. That's
grandmother.
why slaves were getting beat. That's why they was catching whoopings. Because the inside part said, I'm not built for not for you.
My
Not for you.
I asked my grandmother, didn't they have a cotton gin back then? Because I'm not going out there to no. I just want to let you know how what your mama used to do. I said that was mama. No. I don't even want to. I don't even want a history lesson of it. Because I said no, and and this was like in the heat of the day, and my mother used to tell me how long they had to do, and 10 pounds of this soft little cotton, 10 pounds of it. Oh no, they would have to shoot me. I would just have to be shot. I ain't doing that. Mm-mm. No. Mm-mm.
Wow.
I didn't like it when I worked when I was in my 20s, when I worked at Taco Bell and they stuck me back in that kitchen to wash them pots. I quit. I said, no, I don't wash dishes. I wash my dishes at home. But they put me back there to clean the kitchen and stuff like that. I was like, well, how come I can't be out front with everybody else? Oh no. See, you do a wonderful job back there in the back. No, my back. No, I don't do work in the back door. I don't do that. And I walked off the job. I did. Pregnant and everything. Walked off the job and walked home 3 a.m. in the morning. To put me in the back washing nothing. I want to be out front with everybody else. You know, there's always some racial barrier. We always got to deal with that, period. That's how it is. When I came to San Antonio, um, I was just surprised on how government was ran there in Texas. It was different. It was a whole different scenery for me from coming from the Midwest.
Right. Gail, there is an answer. There's an answer. There is an answer. There is an answer. There's one that was given. And it's probably the best answer I've ever heard. And this was the answer that was given. This answer was given in the 60s to people like Bishop Wood.
I have to say this, and I'll sit down. Back during slavery, when black people like me talked to the slaves, they didn't kill him. They'd send some old house Negro along behind him to undo what he said. You have to read the history of slavery to understand this. There were two kinds of Negroes. There was that old house Negro and the field Negro. And the house Negro always looked out for his master. When the field Negroes got too much out of line, he held them back in check. He put them back on the plantation. The house Negro could afford to do that because he lived better than the field Negro. He ate better, he dressed better, and he lived in a better house. He lived right up next to his master in the attic or the basement. He ate the same food his master ate and wore his same clothes. And he could talk just like his master. Good diction. And he loved his master more than his master loved himself. That's why he didn't want his master hurt. If the master got sick, he'd say, "What's the matter, boss? We sick?" He was as sick as the master. When the master's house caught a fire, he'd try and put the fire out. He didn't want his master's house burned. He never wanted his master's property threatened. And he was more defensive of it than the master was. That was the house Negro. But then you had some field Negroes. who lived in huts, had nothing to lose. They wore the worst kind of clothes. They ate the worst food. And they caught hell. They felt the sting of the lash. They hated their master. Oh, yes, they did. If the master got sick, they prayed that the master died. If the master's house caught a fire, they prayed for a strong wind to come along. This was the difference between the two. And today you still have house Negroes and field Negroes.
And today, Dale, you still have house Negroes and field Negroes. And today,
That is true.
you still have house Negroes and field Negroes.
Still.
Today. That's how a black man can talk about the bright side of slavery. Oh, absolutely, Hutch. Absolutely. Absolutely. He's doing it today. He's doing it today. I mean, this is what they're doing. This is, I don't, you always have, Gil, these people who think they're better than. And I have said it in the church. Here come my turn. I've talked about it even in our church because people, they don't care until it's them. And you hear me on this platform say all the time, him today, me tomorrow. Because the misconception, the reason why our country seems to be going backwards towards 1930s and the 1940s is because those people then saw what was coming, but they thought they were coming for them. And didn't realize that you are the them when they are gone. Hear what I said. You are the them when they are gone. Whoever you think they are, you're them when they gone. That's just the way it is. So many black folk upset about illegal aliens in the country. Well, guess what happens when they get rid of them? Then we become them. Asians are mad because they found out that they wanted them too. Compare Earl Carter and what he said with what Wooden's words he's spewing. There's no comparison. Man, thanks, Earl. I wasn't even trying to. I promise you, I wasn't trying to. I'm just disturbed.
Y'all need to listen to Shouting Gale. I told y'all he was gonna teach us. Didn't I not say that in the beginning?
And Magnolia Brown, you're right. It's race today is money. Race and money have always gone hand in hand. They are intertwined in this country. In this country, race and money means the same thing. Don't ever fool yourself. They use different words. Thug. They use welfare queen.
And it has reached into the church. It has reached into the church as well.
It's absolutely it's in the church. It's in where you sit at in the church. Imagine they're selling seats in the church. Your platinum registration gets you a closer seat than your offering does. The reality is this is where we are. And you're going to always have these kinds of people. Here is what I'm hoping, Gil. Here's why I do this platform. Number one, to have a family conversation. But number two, to hopefully inform the family of what they don't know about the people that they see. Because the only way you make change happen on a grand scale is when a grand scale of people say enough is enough. Slavery could have ended 100 years before it did. Why did it end when it ended? Because enough people said, "Nah, this ain't right. Enough is enough. We're not participating." Because enough of them who wanted it said, "We just gonna pull out the country altogether. We're gonna succeed." And the other said, "Oh no, they're not gonna succeed over that because we don't even want it." It's when people get, how does the Civil Rights Act happen? The reality of it is, if there is no death of John F. Kennedy, you may never have had the Civil Rights Bill signed. These are times when people have to decide, what do I stand for? And I don't know how the Church of God in Christ goes from one of the pillars of civil rights to now this is representation of leadership in this church. How do we go from the last speech of Martin Luther King to this? How do we go from the last pulpit Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. ever stood in, ever preached in, ever said anything in, to this is the person standing in that pulpit? And people are saying, right on. In this church. Can't nobody explain that to me. No one can tell me how we can go from there to here. And here's the crazy part, and Faithful is talking about it, but here's the crazy part. Earl Carter preached about something we actually believe. But I keep telling y'all, Earl Carter was talking about the wrong people. Because if you were there, and I was there, I was in the room, I was sitting on the second row. And Earl Carter looked at the bishops and started talking about, when he's talking about his words, the gays, what he called them sissies, he said, in the bishop's chambers. Magnolia, you're right. I think a lot of us have to raise our hands. I think a lot of us have never embraced the history. I think we spent so much time trying not to be associated with our history of slavery to prove that we were as good as or better than or whatever the case may be, that ultimately we almost erased the reality and the truthfulness of things. And this is a sad place to be. I'm bothered tonight. I'm bothered to see a leader be in this place mentally, to say this publicly, and to represent the church I love. I got a problem with this. And I don't know how he keeps getting platformed without having to address any of this. And I almost never I expose, a lot of things that he says and does or whatever. I almost never address it directly like this. But this is a problem. You can never, in your mind, mistake July the 4th for June the 19th. You can never mistake July the 4th, 1776, for January 1st, 1863, or June 19th, 1865. America's independence did not bring about Black Americans' freedom. And for Bishop to say that July the 4th is about our freedom, no, we weren't free July 4th. I'm standing with Frederick Douglass. I'm standing with Malcolm X on this one. All it did was perpetuate a bigger lie to Black folk. Because although we fought for the independence of America, because by the time 1776 comes, we've been here over 100 years. We got here in 1619. So by the time 1776 comes around, we've been here nearly 160 years, but still weren't free. So July 4th doesn't mean anything to me except for barbecue and a holiday. But it was not independence for my descendants. It was not Independence Day. That was America getting independence from England. January 1st, 1863. Which is where we get watch night. Watch night started December 31st, 1862. And we thank God for it.
Every broken hallelujah still tells the tale. Breath in my lungs, that's a drum line. Blood in my veins, that's a bass line. You woke me up, I can't sit still. Gotta give you all I got, that's the Holy Spirit.
It is necessary, y'all, that we never forget the struggle, the sacrifice, and the importance of who we are. The importance of who we are, what it means to be Cogic, what it means to be Church of God in Christ. We stand on making sure people's rights are enforced. I'm disturbed. I'll be better on Sunday, but tonight I'm bothered, and I'm rarely bothered, but I'm bothered tonight. And so, more grace to you, Herndologist. Good to see you tonight, man. Glad you were able to pop in. At any rate, y'all, click the QR code in the corner if you want to take the trip to Myrtle Beach, Nashville, or San Francisco. Click the QR code. It'll take you to where you need to go. it benefits us on the outreach. So if you want to take a trip anyway, it does benefit. The heat show outreach allows us to what we get from that sponsor allows us to do the things we want to do in terms of helping people, feeding people. Uh, we get a lot of outreach from a lot of things. From people needing help with utilities to food and feeding. Thank you. I saw you tonight. Thank you for your gifts. Those who have sold, who've given just to give a gift, thank you so much. If you want to do that to the platform tonight, then reach out to us. $, the Cash App is $ Heat Show. And feel free to sow a seed. It would be greatly appreciated. We'd love to have your help as we get ready to travel to Baltimore for AIM. So, of course, that would help us do that. But if you are needing a beach getaway, you want to go out to the West Coast of California, or you're looking to go and hang out in Tennessee, make sure you click on that link and get your trip. And, set up your payment plan if that's what you need to do. Credit cards, whatever it takes, all of that. Would y'all pray for me? I'm getting ready to turn it over to Gail to close us out. But I am I'm disturbed tonight, y'all. I'm disturbed tonight. Thank you for your gifts. I see them coming in. Thank you so much. I appreciate it so much. Thank you so much. Thank you for all that are giving and those who will give later on. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. It is always a blessing when you are a blessing to us. Gail, come on up. Gail in the back hiding, y'all. She ain't going nowhere. She's just in the back hiding. I am going to AIM. I'm going to AIM. It will be beneficial to that. If you need to go hang, if you're in Tennessee and want to go hang out in Nashville for a weekend, go on there and get that trip. If you anywhere, I may go to Myrtle Beach myself. Anyway, yeah, appreciate you, girl. I do. I'm despondent tonight. It's rare, but I am. I'm down. A little down tonight. Tonight's show was a little more difficult. I'm bothered. Yeah, it's one thing to be on an opposite side of politics. It's another thing to hear somebody with such a profound platform. He's got 125,000 subscribers. And to imagine that you could speak to potentially tell 125,000 people that America's always been great, and that the slaves in this country have the best end of the deal. I don't even know how to mentally deal with that. The showcasers at AIM, are they Cogic? I don't know. I haven't looked at the. Gail, have you seen the lineup for AIM? I haven't looked at it. Let me go look at it. I don't know who's there.
I've seen who the lineup is, but I do believe one of them is possibly Bishop Brandon.
Thank you, Sister Brown. Appreciate you.
Bishop Brandon. The young man, I think, is out of, he has two churches, one in Indianapolis and one in Chicago, I believe, or Indiana.
Philly as well.
I believe he might be because Brandon Jacob I believe he might be one of the speakers because they were our presiding bishop was a speaker at their regional meeting. So I believe that he may be one, but I'm not sure. But I'm quite sure they have a great lineup.
All of the speakers for this, Bishop Maynard is still on the board. Thank you so much, Dr. Wilcox. Appreciate you, man. Love you much. Appreciate you. All the speakers for this year are from the Church of God in Christ. One is the son of the church. The rest are all. You have Bishop Carl Pierce on Monday night, Evangelist Kiera Shute Kelly on Tuesday night, Dr. Joel Tubman on Wednesday night, Superintendent Nathaniel L. Green, and Chairman on Thursday night, and on Friday night is the presiding Bishop J. Drew Shears. So everyone in the lineup is Cogic this week. Our inspirational speakers will be Evangelist Tamika Goodwin, Pastor Charles Jones, Evangelist Tarsha Jefferson on Wednesday night, and no inspirational on Thursday or Friday.
And I'm sure they're going to have a high time in Baltimore.
Yeah, Bishop Carl Pierce will be preaching Monday night, which makes sense because it's in Baltimore. I think he's the main host bishop there. So you got, again, Monday night is Bishop Carl Pierce. Tuesday night is Evangelist Kiera Shute Kelly. Wednesday night is the Bishop Dr. Joel Tubman. Thursday night is Superintendent Nathaniel L. Green. And Friday night is Bishop J. Drew Shears. When did Tubman become Cogic? Tubman is not Cogic, but he did come out of Cogic. That is his roots. I do happen to know that. That's just something I happen to know. Yeah, that's just something I happen to know. I don't know if he's coming back or not, but I do know at one point I think he might have been him and Cortez Vaughn, who's now in California. I think both of them at one point may have been superintendents in the church. Yeah, so okay, he's speaking for Bishop Dills. And Bishop Dills got a pretty good meeting going on there in Memphis. I think he also had Kiera the other night speaking for his convocation. I did, Gail, have a chance to go back and watch the entire full video that Kiera. Oh, Pierce is in East Texas. Yeah, well, he's really from Houston. He got moved from Houston to Baltimore some years ago. Yeah, Bishop Dills had a good meeting this week. Yeah, what was I saying? I forget what to say something.
You were talking about Kiera's video.
Oh, I did go back and watch the video. I still think it's.
I watched it. I watched.
But I will say this. Let me say something positive about it before you kill it. Let me say something positive about it.
Why would you think I'd kill it? I mean,
well, you probably will. But anyway, I thought it was a lot. It was really a family video, which I thought was good. And I mean, they had the baby and the nephew, and I think everybody was in it except for her mom and daddy. So, the imagery may not have been, it may not have. I think she could have made that same video without the whole gold teeth and living in it. Nobody believes you live in the project. Stop that. Anybody. But other than that, I thought it was a good look vibe. I thought it gave the right image.
but see, I don't understand why our women of our church like to be in their pajamas.
I knew whatever it was not going to be positive. I just knew it was not going.
You can't. Why you gotta do a video in your pajamas?
I don't know. I don't
We
know who
went
the
through this.
audience for that video was. I'm not really sure who the audience for that video was. But again, I'm not super fan of the song either. Not because I don't really know what the song is about. To tell you the truth, I don't. I have no idea what the song is. But I thought it was nice. She had a family.
You know,
I can't
don't understand why.
She definitely top heavy.
You know, we had this issue some years ago. Somebody else was in their nightwear, you know, and
Ooh, Lordy have mercy. Look, that was the Lord's way of saying Gail did not need to say whatever she was getting ready to say, y'all, because her computer that shut down once again. Listen, y'all, you got to go watch it, Sister Bricky. You got to go watch it. Yeah, I definitely was not a super fan of the song. I don't really know what the song was about. I'm not real. The Lord didn't cut Gail off, y'all. It was me. Up here she could look. I told you the Lord cut Gail off. I did not do it. I don't want nobody thinking I cut off because I did not. The Lord cut Gail off tonight.
I don't know who is doing it.
I
don't know who is doing this, but whoever you are, leave my system alone. I mean, you know, I don't know if my system trying to crack. Now, any other time I be on my computer, it'd be fine. Soon as I want to do the heat show, everything go You're not gonna do the heat show tonight.
But you know what though? Yes, and J. Drew II did do it. I know the vibe he was. I know the vibe he was going for. It was kind of like that. Y'all remember Will Smith had that song? What was the Summertime? It was kind of that summertime vibe. It was almost like that Will Smith summertime. It was almost like that. I'm not gonna post it because then I have to pay her. So I don't want to pay her. But that's the only reason I'm not gonna post it. But what's the name of it? Yeah, what's the name of that song? I don't know. It's new. I don't know. It's her new song. What is it? It keep popping up on my feed. I don't know what it is.
I think it's Shine. I think the name of the song is Shine.
Yeah, it's all about.
I don't know. It's not what it is.
Yeah, it's all about the fact that she don't really understand it. It doesn't, it don't speak, like, it doesn't give me life. It don't, Shine. Thank you, sister. Thank you. Shine is the name of the song. Okay, yeah. So it don't necessarily give me life. It don't inspire me. It doesn't, but it's a little. It's a fine little song. I mean, the song is okay. I don't like or dislike the song. I don't know what the song is about, to tell you. I don't get it. The video, I definitely don't get at all. I'm not real sure what they, you ever seen a commercial? You remember I don't know if you remember this. Paris Hilton, they used to have some, they were trying to sell Whoppers. I think it was Burger King commercial. But they was half naked and they were kept drowning themselves in water. And you didn't even know that they were selling Whoppers. I don't know. Thank you, Pram, man. I appreciate it so much. We're really trying, man. We really are. I don't have a problem. It is, and I understand certain saints are going to. I get that it appears worldly. It definitely does not appear to be. I don't know what to go with. Let me just say it like that. But if you just want a song that has to do with God, I mean, a little bit to do with God, barely a little bit to do with God, but that feels whatever. Whatever. I ain't tripping off of it. I ain't tripping.
I'm trying to use a nice. It seems as though someone keeps booting off, and I know it's not Bishop, but whoever you are, stay off this channel.
I promise you. But yeah, I because I try not to always be, I try to never be negative. but my initial reaction was not great. And then I went back and rewatched it. And I thought, the kids and the church members and the park, it just seemed like it reminded me of summertime. It didn't. Bishop Charles Jenkins album. Now that's an album that is not for the church. It is not for. Isn't that a love? Didn't he do an R&B album? I think Charles Jenkins did an R&B album now. He tried to sound like R. Kelly, Step in the Name of Love. I just was not. I'm not. Listen, I don't like crossovers, Gail. I don't like artists trying to cross over to R&B, and I don't like R&B artists trying to cross over to gospel. They two different things, and I want to hear different people depending on what it is I'm trying to listen to. I am not. They got this thing now where they doing the Bible and R&B. I don't want to hear an R&B version of the Bible. I'm just not. Kind of not looking for that. It's kind of not what I'm looking for. So Charles, I think, did an actual like R&B album. Okay. Playful it's a really good feel-good album. I'm gonna listen to it again. I have not listened to the whole thing. I'm really not a Charles Jenkins fan because his movements they bother me. I ain't even lie. I don't know why the American Idol guys on. Well, it depends on which one you're talking about because there's a couple of them. Because two of the American Idol people actually were the other two people in all the viral Galante Gavin videos when they were teenagers. So Kayla and the other guy, I forget his name, but all three of them were the ones that were doing the viral thing when Gavin Galante got noticed. And they all have gone on to kind of record and do their own thing. But they've kept it in the church though for the most part. Oh, the winner. Oh, that guy. Y'all know who you're talking about. Yeah, I'm gonna have to check him out. I'll check out. Is he bishop now? I thought they said Bishop Charles Jenkins. Is Charles Jenkins a bishop now?
Is he a bishop?
That's it, Jamal Roberts. Yeah, Jamal Roberts kind of gives me way too many different kind of vibes, so I'm not really sure. He's kind of, Gail, I would say he reminds me of Fantasia. I mean, I said what I said. He kind of reminds me of Fantasia to a certain degree to where you got these church singers that they came out to church really, but they're really R&B singers, but they can sound churchy. And he kind of gives me that. I don't give me the I'm a run to Jesus listening to him sing. I don't think I'm
Fantasia actually gives me the vibe of she's church and R&B. Like Aretha Franklin. She could take you to church when it's time to go to church, and she could take you in the groove when it's time for love, And so it's all
Charles
about
Jenkins was
talent.
gonna be all genres. I didn't know that. I didn't know Charles Jenkins was an all genres type thing. He just don't do it for me. But
I didn't either.
Yeah, he always looks like Ray Charles on crack to me when he does videos. Like he, that whole shake, that thing. It just be dry, and that by itself disturbs me. It'd be hard for me to follow that. And then he always clapping on the 1 and the 3, and that throws me all the way off. It's a lot of things that be throwing me off about Charles Jenkins. But I like him though. Oh, okay. Jamal Roberts said he was doing all genres. He seems like he does all genres. He just he gives a different kind of vibe, and sometimes I can't tell. I don't even know what community he's really a part of. Sometimes I can't tell. And that's okay. That's all right. I mean, if that's what you do. Look, Faith said them tight pants that Jenkins be wearing, that's a whole nother problem. There's a lot going on with Dr. Jenkins. He just be having all this. Be kind of hard for me to follow sometimes. But
I'm glad he decided to. I'm glad that Dr. Charles Jenkins decided to retire come out
Well,
of the pulpit.
I mean, Clay Evans did the same thing. So I think he just followed, kind of followed the pattern. But I think he was in a mood. He was in a moment where it was good that he did that. I
Well,
thought
when
he
Dr.
was
Evans
gonna go.
retired, he was already 70,
Yeah,
75. I think when Dr. Um, Evans did it, he was already 75, a retirement age.
right.
Um, but he just had, I think Pastor Charles just had a different way that he wanted to go with his music. And the
I think
church
he had
would
a different
not
way
go
he
for
wanted to
that.
go.
So,
I think he had a different way he wanted to go with his life.
yeah.
He had the wife, the whole mistress thing going. He had a lot going on. Dr. Jenkins had a lot going on. So I think he needed to take that break. I actually admire him taking the break. I think he did a good thing. And Reginald has been good for the church. Sharp has been good for the church.
Yeah.
I think Sharp has been good for the church. Not that he was bad for the
But
church.
But I don't think, fellowship, with the history of fellowship being a traditional church, it has just taken on a different spin now.
Yeah,
Um, so it is a
I think,
different, it is,
Miguel, I think
go
going back
ahead.
to what we talked about last week, and I was saying how I always tell preachers, to kind of turn slow. Reginald has kind of done that. It is fellowship has shifted, but it hadn't been. It wasn't a quick shift. It wasn't like a speedboat. He turned that thing more like a yacht. And so now, shoot, you almost can't tell fellowship from St. James when Bishop when Bishop help me out again. Uh,
St. James Bishop Campbell?
Campbell, yeah, you almost can't tell the difference.
Oh, there's a difference, but
I don't
um,
know enough about Bishop Melvin Burden and what's happening over there. I will look into it, but I don't know enough about it to commentate on it, to tell you the truth. And I'll tell you why. Because once you put something out there, where does a person go to get their reputation back if it's not true? So I promise you, though, I will look into it. I don't hide nothing over here. So if it's something that's there and it's worth talking about, I think first I would have to see that board of bishop action against him, and that there's an actual complaint within the church. Then it may become something, and then how he deals with that. If that's what he's got going on, then certainly the authorities will do what they do. They done just about got rid of statute of limitations on everything these days. So if you did something 80 years ago, it may come back to get you if you're still alive. You might want to go ahead and take care of that. But I honestly don't know. I do know
I
that
would say,
talking, but I don't know enough about it to really tell you, because I don't even really know the Bishop Melvin Burton. Up, see there, and then Gail stayed in the spring, so she gonna come back, y'all. I hope he doesn't wear himself out. I think he is. Why was Donnie's thing canceled? Because he's still going through a case too, right? I think he's got a lawsuit out there from the Italian or Spanish guy or something like that. But please don't think I'm ignoring that question. I just don't know enough about it to, intelligently speaking. Yeah, that's the and I think sometimes that's the best thing we can do not just in the church, but just in life in general. You don't know, just sometimes it's best to not to kind of hold off. I know there are allegations thinking something about having a child. I don't know anything about preying on children, but I don't know. And I just, as a matter of fact, to be honest with you, I just heard about it yesterday. And what I will do, though, is I will call King Jive. I will call my little brother and ask him, because that's generally what I do when he's talking about something. I'll call and ask what the situation is. what does he know? Where is this coming from? Because other than that, I don't know. So yeah, it's sad if it's true. I don't know the whole. I don't even know really the whole allegations. I haven't watched enough of it to know. Uh, I haven't spoken. I haven't spoken on. I'm going to speak on. I'm actually creating an entire another platform. So you got ahead of me. I'm creating a whole nother platform. It's going to be called the Unspin Show, where I will put my legal hat on and my crisis management hat. We're going to be dissecting cases. And the first one that I'm actually going to be doing is the about the Metcalf case and in Texas. Didn't speak on Pastor Young and Metcalf words. Yeah, yeah. I like I said, I don't know enough. So y'all pray for me. I'll see if I can find out what's going on. Don't know if Gail is gonna make it back in. We got 5 minutes to go. We'll see if Gail makes it back in. Are you all going to Baltimore? Anybody going to Baltimore? Oh, there she is. How does Pastor Mark Moore open up all these churches? I don't know. I think he has a. I don't know that he has a bad relationship with his father. His father, I knew when he was in Atlanta. Um, I actually sent members to his father. Um, Members of mine that moved to Atlanta, I sent over to his father's church. A couple of families, probably 2 or 3 families, and Mark at the time was the assistant pastor. I don't know that anything has happened in their relationship that I know of. I know that it's it's a little bit of a different thing um, because of his fallout with the denomination, but I don't know that it had any effect with his father. Any updates on Bishop Maynard? No, that is still processing. And okay, since Brown going to Baltimore, I'm hoping to get there. It's my plan to go. Yeah, that's what I. Yeah, that. Now I did know that that was a little friction because of the church, but I think that was more denominational. I think, from what I understand, I think Mark thought he would be made bishop, you know, and it was just a lot of other things going on, and it was about the building, and that was denominational. I don't know how much of that had to do with family, but I do know that it was the denomination that took that from Mark. Wasn't his, but his family. Oh, okay. What's going on with the ARC system? Antoine Powell shut the ARC system down after they did what they did and kept him off of the ballot for the vice chairman of the General Assembly. And so that has been a fight. And from my understanding, they then canceled the contract. And so now they are looking to do something else. But for the time being, we're going back to the F1s, the system that we should have never let. But we're going back to that system as a result of all of that fallout from that. And that came from the person's mouth. So that's what's going on. The ARC system is no more. All right, Gil. That's the only answer I had to that one. That was it. That's all I can give you. It is no more. Will there be online voting? No. I don't think so. I don't actually, I don't know. Let me not say no. I think they're still trying to do that. But I'm not sure if they will be able to do that. Because I think they would integrate a system. So I'm not really sure. I think we will eventually get back to, and again, this is why I've been saying it for 4 years. This is why we have a constitutional form of voting, which means delegates who are voted on and then show up in person to vote. I don't, the whole concept of all of this, most of this should have never been done in the first place. But I don't know if that will be available right now. I think they're trying to work on that. But voting systems are, they're not super expensive. I've done it here on the platform, so they're not super expensive to do. They could do it and do it with a reputable company. Should they do it? That's a different question, and I don't think that they should. That's my personal opinion, because our Constitution doesn't really allow for it. But I don't know what they will ultimately. All right, Gail done fell off again. Y'all, that's all I can do now. She done fell off again. Listen, y'all, thank y'all for hanging out. I'll be back on Sunday. I will be back here Sunday night, right here on the platform. I think this is Friday. Is this Friday? I've been traveling so much. I think we're on Friday night. I wish I kept my own schedule. Yeah, we're Friday. Okay, so I'll be back here on Sunday. On Sunday night, and we're gonna have a great show. We're gonna talk about something really, really great, and I'm excited about it. Make sure, tell all your friends, click on the QR code, go and check out the Heat Show Facebook page, because I'll put those trips up there as well, along with the QR code, so that you can just click and swipe if you want the vacation. If you know somebody who needs a vacation, somebody wants to go to Myrtle Beach or San Francisco or Nashville, they'll be there and available for the people. So y'all make sure y'all check those things out. And thank you so much for watching. Thank you for those who will give, who've already given so into our platform at the $ Heat Show on Cash App. We thank you for that as well. Now, Father, we thank you for these who have had a great conversation with us. We pray that we've been able to inspire someone. We pray that we've been able to uplift someone. We pray we've been able to help someone, inform someone as to things that are good and profitable for us that you've given to us. Now, God, I pray now that you bring us back here on Sunday. God, let no hurt, harm, or danger. Heal who needs to be healed. Deliver those who need to be delivered. Set the captives free. We pray it in Jesus' name. God, when we get done, we'll give you all the glory. We'll give you all the praise. We'll give you all the glory because we trust you for everything and we doubt you for absolutely nothing. Last time I was on, the Lord gave me to pray for someone for healing, and by the time the show ended, we got a text from her telling us exactly we were praying for the stomach, and got a report that God had healed even right then and there. So we thank you. Keep us in your prayers. Keep us lifted up. Would y'all pray for me as I pray for y'all? Until Sunday, y'all be blessed. Did I watch Dorinda preaching yesterday at Trinity? I did not. I was traveling. So y'all keep praying for me. I'm gonna keep praying for y'all. I'm gonna see y'all Sunday. I promise you I'll see you Sunday. Until then, y'all be blessed.